So it's 2017 and I'm already pissed off with fake people and people who don't practice what they preach. So I went out last night, like I'm sure a whole bunch of people did, to bring in the new year. So my plan was to get up and make it to church this morning, and I overslept my alarm, and then my sister texted me and asked me if I was going to church, so I was like, yeah, I'll get up. So after she texted me, I was like, yeah, I'll get up and get ready to go. So I got up. This is what I'm wearing. So I told her that I would be there like really quick, and so I ended up showing up before she had got there. So I had walked into the sanctuary, got a seat. So I'm just sitting there and I'm listening to like praise and worship, and the usher walks up to me and she was like, I'm gonna have to ask you to take your hat off. And I'm like, what? She was like, I'm gonna have to ask you to take your hat off. And I was like, why? And she was like, the pastor instructed me to come tell you to take your hat off. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, why do I have to take my hat off? And she was like, he just told me to come tell you to take your hat off because you're a guy. And so she was like, yeah, the pastor just told me to come tell you to take your hat off because you're a guy and you don't need to wear it in the sanctuary. And I'm just like, okay. I was just like, well, I didn't brush my hair this morning, that's why I have my hat on. And she was like, we don't care if your hair looks a mess, blase, blase. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just step outside and, go put my hat in my truck. So I took my hat off. So I'm thinking, a couple of Sundays ago, the pastor had preached about coming to church the way that you are, like they don't care. Jesus doesn't care what you look like or what you did the night before. So like I'm gonna do that. I've always been that person to do exactly that. That's just the type of person that I am. Like regardless of what I did the night before, who I was with, and what I'm wearing, like I'm gonna go to church. Like he legitimately was preaching about coming to church the way that you are. You can come to church in your PJs and it would be okay. So I'm just sitting in my truck and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, it's really starting to bother me. Like one, like I grew up in this church, so everybody knows me. Like these people have known me ever since I was a baby. I've been going there since I can remember, and the fact that I was told to take my hat off, like it really irritates me. Like how are you gonna preach a couple of Sundays ago that you can come in wearing whatever, we don't care as long as you make it to church? And then I actually show up. Like I didn't have to go to church. Like I'm hungover. Like I could have stayed my ass in bed, but no, I got up, got ready, and went to church. So I'm just sitting in my truck and I'm like, okay, it's not a big deal. I'll just take my hat off. And then I'm just thinking, like, you're not practicing what you preach. Like the point of being a preacher or being anybody in the ministry is to bring people to Jesus, regardless of what they look like, what they do. That's the whole point of being a Christian. Like, and people aren't practicing what they preach. Like, how are you gonna tell somebody one thing but do another? So as I'm sitting in my truck, I'm just getting more and more mad. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I've let too much shit slide with a lot of people. I don't know, I've just let too much shit slide with a whole bunch of people, and I shouldn't have allowed that to happen because now they keep doing it. And they think it's okay. Like, you still call me by my birth name, but yet today, like, oh, I'm a guy. I just don't have time for that anymore. I'm not letting that slide. Like, I don't care if you've known me since I was a baby or not. You will not call me by my birth name anymore. I'm not letting it happen. I just can't do that. Like, and I thought that it was okay because these people have known me since I was a baby, but it's not okay. And that's why I've let it slide and let it go for so long, because a lot of people knew me as Danielle and not Darian. And like, it's one thing to get that it's gonna take time for people to use the correct pronouns and use the right name. But the fact that my preacher or whatever still calls me by my birth name, but today when I walk in, I'm a guy. Like, that's not cool. Like, what's different from any other Sunday? Is it the fact that I had a hat on today that all of a sudden I'm a guy in your eyes? I'm sorry, I can't do it. So I came home. Like, I'm not going to allow people to do that anymore. If you do not want to use the correct pronouns and call me Day or call me Darian, then I don't want nothing to do with you. Like I didn't have a New Year's resolution, and then this shit happened today at church of all places. So this is my New Year's resolution. I will not continue to allow people to use the wrong pronouns and the wrong name. And I'll correct people whenever they use the wrong pronouns or the wrong name. Like, I'm not letting it slide anymore. I've worked so hard to get to where I am today, to just basically have people spit in my face and run over me. Like, it's not happening anymore. I'm sorry. Like, if people really care about me and they want me in their life, then they'll do what I ask them to do. Other than that, and that's just the way that it's gonna be. Like, nobody knows what I go through. You have no idea how fucking hard it is. This is me, and this is who I am, and if you don't like it, I honestly don't care. I won't surround myself with these type of people anymore. Like, it just sucks because a lot of people don't know what I'm going through and don't know what it is that I go through on a day-to-day basis. For example, like at work, there's only like 2 people who know that I'm trans, and the other people they have no idea. And the reason that they don't know is because there have been other trans people who have worked at Target and they no longer work there because of how they were treated. And I don't want to be one of those people. Like, I shouldn't have to feel like I have to hide who I am because of the way people act and what they will. Because whenever people find out, they treat me differently. Like, oh, he's a cool ass dude, and then they find out that I'm trans, and then the shit changes. Like, and it shouldn't be that way, but that's just the type of person that I am. Like, I'm non-judgmental. I don't care who you are and what you look like. If you're a genuine person and you care about me and my feelings, I'm gonna give the same back in return. That's all I ask for. So advice to everybody in the world: don't let negative people stop you from being who you are and doing what you want to do. Always stay true to yourself and be happy doing it. Like, do a damn good job at being yourself and being happy. Don't let those people control you. Stand up for yourself. Don't let people run over you. No matter what the situation is, you gotta stay true to yourself. And that's exactly what I should have done today, but instead of doing that, I let it get to me and affect me, and now I'm at home and not at church where I wanted to be. And I'm not gonna do that anymore. Like, if you ain't with it, the door is wide open. You can leave. You don't have to stay. And for a second, I really thought that it ruined my day, but I'm not gonna let it ruin my day. I'm gonna make the best out of today and this year, regardless. So, in conclusion of this long ass snap, I hope that everybody has a good day today, and I hope that you make the best out of 2017. Much love.